Am I on? Am I live? Here we go. Cool. What's up, Flower Fam? How are y'all doing? Good. Yes. All right. So I'm Ace Berry. I became a florist in 2007 when I got laid off from the oil field. Thank you, Schlumberger, for doing me a favor. My passion became my purpose, and my purpose in life is to make sure that everyone loves flowers as much as I love flowers. That is what God put me on earth to do, is to share my love and my knowledge of flowers, and I'm constantly learning more about flowers every day. So, Diamond's gonna bring out the first one. If y'all have questions, this is very interactive. I want you to talk. We are all here to learn. We took time out of our busy schedules to learn all this kind of cool stuff. So, this is my first arrangement that I made. Ready? Ready. The cool thing about this one is, this is what makes me money. This is what I do every day to make money. This is what supplies the art-driven side of what I get to do. When I get to travel and teach and stuff like that, it's because I do a lot of stuff like this. Is this overly creative? Probably not. But it's a good basic arrangement that I can whip out in 10 minutes into my community, and they love it. So that's what this is. So this has just good groupings all through it. It's got good orange carnations to the orange spray roses. Gerbs, not carns. See, typo. Orange gerbs, pink carns, roses, callas, iris, delph, stock, all the kinds of fun stuff. Just very lush, full, and romantic. This is not how I began my journey in flowers. I was a very structured architectural designer, and I had to learn to soften my look and soften who I was as a designer. So this is the one that I had to learn for my business sake, because if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Now, the cool thing about this program, I told myself that I started watching wholesalers always give us flowers every year for these programs. It's because of them that we get to do this. So you should go over there, thank them, talk to them about what they can bring in, how they can help your business and stuff like that. But because of them, we get a ton of flowers, and there's always at the end of these things a ton of flowers that get chunked into dumpsters and stuff like that. And it's very sad because those flowers didn't get their day in the sun, and they didn't get their time to really show off who they are. So the whole concept about this was that I was going to show up, not know anything. I didn't know my containers. I didn't know my flowers. I knew absolutely nothing. I got here late on a Friday and just started designing. So everything is either foraged, or I've taken it out of other programs, or I've used whatever was left over in the scraps to make everything that comes out on stage. So we can bring the next one, Donovan. Boom. Oh, yes. So here's the first one. So, and I'll take that other one at the same time, too. So here's the first one. This is an accent decor bowl. Actually, this one was actually inspired by Derek Woodruff. So a couple years ago, I saw Derek in Texas, and he was doing these terrariums like this. And I was like, man, that is so cool. How can I make it different? Like what? And Derek does it where it's very in the vessel. So I was like, okay, how can I make it different, but still be inspired by other designers? Because at the end of the day, we got to still like an artist. We're constantly looking at other people on social media, everything. We're trying to figure out what they do and how they do it and how we can be inspired by it. So he's here in the front row and making me nervous. But so Accent Decor was kind enough to send me these vessels, and I had my good friend Alan Masters here also. So I said, okay, we're going to do this together. I said, you're going to make one. We're going to use the exact same flowers, and we're going to see how different we can be and like what we're going to do. And we just designed together. So this is the one Alan made. And you can see this nice swooping line into the design, pulling you into your focal point with your pods, and then swooping back out. And then he added these lovely curly willow where it kind of breaks the frame, pulling it all together like that. Lush. And then the rocks, it's got midnight foam in it, and it's filled with water, and the rocks are kind of just accents through the whole thing. Thoughts on his? Now we go to mine. So back to who I was when I first started designing. Very, very, very structured and tall, open air. So I started off with the alum and staggering down all the way through to the bottom, keying you into the focal, which is the pods down low. And then I wanted to create sheltering techniques with the flax, and then pulling again, breaking the frame and pulling out the curly willow on this one. But definitely two fun designs that you can think of. and send them out. Now, cool thing about dollars and cents, right? This arrangement is probably, if I had to guess, depending on the price of alum and pricing, you're probably looking at around 75-ish. Maybe a little bit more, a little less, depending on your area and what the prices are. But it's the vessel. The vessel is where you're gonna make your money on this. You're upselling this, and then you're telling them at the end of it all, you can make this terrarium garden, anything like that, putting plants in with the rocks on the bottom, upselling it that way. So, any questions? Yes.
Am I allowed to ask questions?
Yes. We don't ask for permission. We ask for forgiveness.
Could you do the design without the foam? Could you just do it in the rocks?
I think you could if we did like a chicken wire. I've never tested it, but I do believe that we could probably do it if we did it with like a chicken wire, made like a ball, and then put a ball or moss, I bet.
Just something to hold.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think if you did chicken wire or like even like the egg with moss and where it has some type of structure, I don't know if chicken wire would hold it completely, but I think that if you did the moss, like the moss part, I think you could.
I like yours better than Alan's.
Yes. Y'all make sure y'all tell him that. Also, if y'all could all send Alan a message and just tell him that I'm prettier than him. That's our running joke.
You want to start a poll?
Yes. So when I tell y'all that I try to use up everything, I work until the last minute because that's just who I am. And I, again, always want flowers to have their day in the sun. So this is the very, very, very last one that I did. And it was a challenge because all I wanted to use was greenery. And then I saw Derek's stuff back there and I was like, oh wait, there's a kale. Literally 3 minutes ago, yeah. And then the Bells of Ireland, just really kind of curling everything back into this design. But I wanted to use up all the greenery because a lot of times when we're designing, we don't think that greens cost money. How many times do we overstuff stuff with greenery and we forget that this still costs us money? But you can make pretty arrangements with just greenery. And it's a big fad like the last probably 2 years where you're seeing brides like, oh, I just want a lot of greens. I want a lot of this. So start trying to make your greens first and then accent with some of the blooms and the flowers, where it really highlights the flowers that you do have in it. So this one right here, again, I'm highlighting the kale and everything is monochromatic green. Like you can 100% know exactly when you look at this, this is my focal point. Everything is redirected into this. No matter what it is, it's always coming back into those spots. So, any questions? And this one took me about 3 minutes to make. So my margin is very high. Yes?
Now, do you just have to put your kale to find the exhibitors? Is that what
This one, this is, I always call this whale tail. I don't know what the real name is.
to find it is perfect?
No, I just kind of looked stuff. Yeah, I stripped it. You can see it's got like a torn edge right there where I did it fast. You just start finding things. You look at the shape of it. Like on the curly willow for Alan, he had this one that the way it curled right back up. You see those things, but nature is nature.
Yeah.
You let it do what it wants to do. Too many times that as designers and as shop owners, we try to dictate everything. We try to hold everything with such a tight grip on everything instead of just letting ourselves breathe and learn to be creative and be designers. People use us, they use our shops because we're creative, because we're different. And that's great, that's the best part of us. We're all different shapes, colors, sizes. We all have bumps, bruises, and scars. We should celebrate all of those. And like put yourself out there, because those people, that's why they're coming to you. They're coming to you because you're different, because you're not the person that's down the street, whoever it is, or the wire service that you don't like, or whatever it is. Any of those things. They're coming to you because you're a professional and you know what you're doing and they love your style already. To what Derek was saying earlier, they love your brand. They love your brand already. So I do have to thank my sponsor, which is Flower Shop Network. I do get a lot of questions about because I don't have any wire services, and Flower Shop Network is not a wire service. I am going to say that because I made sure I wanted to say that right now. They're a technology-based company and they believe in y'all. They believe in me. They are powered by a person that worked for a wire service at one point in her career, and then she started Flower Shop Network, and she owned a flower shop before she started Flower Shop Network. They're amazing. They believe in us. They fly myself, Doug Bates, Patience Pickner, a bunch of designers in there to come create flowers for y'all, for it's a retail base. So you get a true 80%. That's the only time I'm going to talk about them because but they are amazing. Go talk to them. Go talk to Sean. And they really are trying to make sure that we're around for another 100 years, like I said earlier. Yes, sir. This is the second to last one I did. So y'all might have seen these in Jackie's program. All this alum, it came off of his program and straight into mine. So that was this morning. That's what I made this one. It's got his scrap trichylium, his scrap gingers, gerbs, the pieces of wood, and the, what else? The alum. So, yes, ma'am.
Do you put the wood first and then the flowers?
Yes, ma'am. So this is done, it's got midnight foam in there, and it's stacked in there. I've got one brick right here that is vertical, and then another brick that I cut in half and stuck in the top so I don't have to shove things all the way to the bottom. And then I just laid the wood on top, creating like a little trellis way through here that you can see with negative spacing. And then I held it all in by cutting everything short from Jackie's program. Cut it short, mound it in, or base it in, and then I built after that. Trying to build this nice little framework so it hangs out. Any other questions on it? Yes, ma'am.
What is hanging to hold it down
What is hanging where?
in the front? Or is that part of the vase?
No, that's part of the vase.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is an accent decor vase. I love these whole flat things because I 100% think of flowers as they're, like Derek calls his flowers girl. I call my flowers girl. But a lot of female designers that I know, they always call them guys. Look at this guy. So I love that the flowers, my flowers are always ladies. But this is like the masculine part because of the coloring. So it's that duality of like you have this nice, like masculine, rough, tough vessel, and then you have these beautiful, delicate flowers on the top. So you have to have that duality. So, any questions? Now this design is very vertical. Everything you can kind of see where my line work is literally all this alum that it's from front to back and just stacked up and then stacked down all the way through. Perfect. Yes, sir. Oh, perfect. Now, dollars and cents. Who got into this industry to be poor? Y'all can answer. Nobody, right? No one ever started being a florist or getting any type of business to ever be poor. And because of that, I especially didn't. Because I like shoes and hats and tattoos and food and everything else. So what I always told myself is I wanted to make money. However I have to do it, I want to be good at making money. And the best way to make money is having impeccable customer service. Okay? But I also believe that we are a community over competition. Say it with me. Community over competition. Here's why. Because you have a florist that's literally 3 blocks from you. They might need a rose one day. You might need that rose one day. So it's a community over competition. They can have your recipe. Everybody in this place knows how to make spaghetti, correct? Yep. But your mom's spaghetti is still the best spaghetti. Right or wrong? Okay, well, your mom may not have cooked well.
My sister-in-law.
Yeah, but the whole thing about it is that they can have your recipe. They don't have your sauce. They don't know how it makes you you. Be willing to share everything. Everything you are in this industry, share it. Put it out there. Let them learn from you. Donovan, I can take that next one. So I started with these bud vases, and they're just fast, easy bud vases. They're literally chop and drops, okay? But how can I elevate? Back to kind of what Derek was saying earlier. How can we elevate our looks? So then I think about my subscription services and the people that I do a lot of work for. So the bud vases are nice if I had them just on a table, around a restaurant. But then what if I want to accent the rest of that restaurant with this arrangement? So this is what they're seeing in the beginning. And then over time it evolves. And they start going, well, we love those medium-sized ones, but we want more. We're making more money. Your flowers are looking gorgeous. Everybody loves you. Now we need more. So then we started adding in even more. You start accenting everything with gorgeous containers and more flowers. Because here's the thing. No one ever said they didn't want more flowers. I need a bigger table is what I need. Sorry, Donovan, I told you the wrong table, bud. I said, oh no, that table's fine. Hold on, I'm gonna maneuver this so y'all can kind of see. Okay, we're gonna do this like to this. So imagine that's like that, and this is here. Right here, actually. Kind of. So it pulls it all together, so you have a nice collection and nice groups of stuff. Now this, again, is not an over-the-top, out-of-this-world design aesthetic. You know what this is? This is one technique that I've repeated through this entire thing. The one thing is repetition and groupings. That is it. It's one thing that I highlighted and made sure I did repetitively to make sure it looks good so I can maximize the amount of dollars that are going into this. Oh, Don's bringing another. Thank you, Don. I appreciate you, sir. So any questions on this one? Now, everything that is on this one is redirecting you into the eye or into the middle where the focal point is, which is the roses. Pulling in different textures and stuff like that. Really pulling, shooting out, but it's all highlighted with what's in we have in each one. So, questions? Yes. These are Accent Decor. Their new inverted rainbow line. I don't know the name of it. I'm going to call it the inverted rainbow.
I like it.
I'll tell Pender. I'll tell Pender. Yes, the inverted rainbow. Thank you. Bam. These are, what do I have now? Oh, yeah, that was a fun one. 1 second, Donovan, I got to move some stuff. We're going to set this like this. I need a Vanna. I do have a Donovan. Donovan is going to make sure he gets his steps in today. I was like, yeah, he was preset, and I was like, oh, no, we're good. We don't have to preset. He was like, I'm going to be running a lot. And I was like, yeah, probably. Yes. Perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm trying to think which way is, yes, we're going to flip this right there, and boom. So, what do you thought?
I have a question.
Yes,
Did you strip your pampas grass?
I did strip it a little bit.
So cool.
I did strip it a little bit. So, thank goodness for Alan Masters, because when we had to punt our workshop earlier and we made a type of cake, he went and forged the pampas for me. I was like, I need a brown. Literally, I looked at him. I got these, the manzanilla from Tim Farrell. I've got the blueberry roses from Giles. Where's Gile at? I've renamed Kyle and Jeremy Gile. Y'all can. We started that. And where's Nicole too? Because Nicole and I were like Gile. Yeah. See. Yeah. So they thank them. And then the orchids were from the workshop, and then the gerbs were from somebody else's thing. So everything. The delphinium was from Gile also. The whole thing. Like I said, I knew absolutely nothing as soon as I got here. And then I saw the Winnie vase, and I was like, thank God they sent me a Winnie at least. I've designed this one enough. I know how to do this one. So back to, again, what Derek was saying. How many of us have seen this on Pinterest and on Instagram a ton, right? I hated it. Hated it. Literally, I would look at people that did. I was like, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to design. And I would just look at it. But what happened was, the more I looked at it, the more I was inspired by it. And the more I was inspired by it, the more I started to love it. And then I was like, well, I wonder if I can replicate it and do it in a different way. Maybe I can make it myself. Maybe I can make it more structured when I'm doing it, because this soul sunken look, I was like, I'm not here for it. But then at the end of it all is when I fell in love with it. And I was like, son of a gun. And I openly talked bad about this thing. I'm going to look bad now. So this guy has ranunculus, which came out of Tim Farrell's. Y'all probably saw that yesterday. He had a big ball of just ranunculus, pink ranunculus with feathers. As soon as that came out, I was like, nope, taking all those. And then just made this. And then the whole line started with the delf first. And I just tried to make a very swooping line with the delf. So I had a backbone to go through it all. And then we went in with the gerbs and then the blueberry roses and carnations through the middle, trying to really pull in this sunken look. But there's the only greens that are in here are 4 pieces of Israeli ruscus, and this is 6 pieces of calathea leaf. That's it. And so it's all midnight foam. So if you really look up close to this, it really does disappear. And if you look towards this back side, I kind of left it exposed even on all sides. So it really does disappear. So you use less. Again, Don't make dollars, don't make sense. I want to use less product and make more money. I didn't start this to be poor. I didn't.
Amen.
Yeah. We all want to make money. So, any questions on it? Any questions on Midnight Foam? You love it. I love that you love it. That makes me happy. So,
Is that Manzanita brand?
that is a Manzanita. That is also from Tim Farrell's stuff. I didn't have loppers, so I'm out there breaking things. And he's like, so. No, not taped in at all. No. Everything is kind of just wedged in, kind of cut to shape. I try to use as little as possible because, I mean, at the end of the day, when it does come to foam, we are putting something in the atmosphere and in the environment. So I will say this one is 75% degradable in the first year, and it's 567 days fully degradable. But how is it going to degrade if you're throwing it in a plastic bag? So you can literally throw this out in your compost, and it's good in that part. So if you have a chance to throw it out, throw it just out. No, don't throw it in the trash can, because then it's not you're just kind of nullifying the process at that point. So, any questions? Yes. Oh, the secondary piece. Thank you, sir. So I always do collections. I love collections. I think that you have to do collections. Boom, like that. There you go. So this is just a bunch of blueberry roses. Like I said, I was using up everything I could. The final 4 delphinium, the last piece of manzanilla, ranunculus, and then 3 calathea leaves and some orchids and tulips. Thoughts? And yes, ma'am.
So your foam goes above the rim in this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
That shape?
Yeah. And so I also left it exposed on that side. So really what happens is I kind of just like in darker areas, it really does disappear. It just kind of vanishes, which I was very skeptical of it for the longest time. I was like, because we're all taught for years, cover your mechanics, cover up everything. Now 100% if that was green foam, I'd have covered every square inch of it and made sure. But you have to learn to break the process, but it's hard. It's hard to do. Like we've all been ingrained for years into this is how we design, this is how you do stuff. I mean, it's even in design aesthetics, we're like, oh, you can't have this curvilinear that it doesn't have a name. So how do you like curvilinear? That's literally what I said. It was like curvilinear. Like someone has asked me what a design style is on something like that. How do you determine it? It's like we're finally, as florists, in front of trends. Instead of us being reactive to trends, we're creating these trends. Instead of us being like, oh, well, we need this. We have to wait for this and that. No, we're finally in a point where we're getting to do stuff where it helps us out from the start. So, and then again, yes, sir.
Are those the dyed tulips that are
These are the brownies.
there? Yeah, they're so pretty.
Yes, I love those brownies. Have y'all had a chance to use them? No? Yeah. So again, it's just lots of groupings, a lot of, one hard line, and then everything accents off of this hard line and going into, focal areas, which is a mound of blueberry roses. So, and then it kind of contrasts with has just enough of a purple hue into the Winnie that it pulls together. Yes, ma'am.
Those tulips you're talking about, so those are like stem dyed.
They are stem dyed.
How do they last and they don't get on my, like, they're absolutely beautiful, but how do they?
I have never had an issue with them. I usually use them in water, not foam. I usually use them in water more. The water will turn colors, same as always, but I've never had them crap out. Most of the dyed tulips I've used have lasted longer than my regular tulips, which is weird, but I also think that it goes into like conditioning, care and handling, all of the things like that, because we're flower shops, so like we have a cooler, we can stop the process on some things. I think if you're buying mass market or someone is buying from mass market, they're not going to last as long because it's open air. I don't know. Does it last? It does? But they grow them there? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think like you're always going to have an incident. It's just like when you get a package of roses in there, you might have one bad out of 25. That one could have gotten botrytis. It could have gotten a lot of different things. Someone, when they're pulling it out, could have dripped water all over the top of the heads, and it sat there and rotted the rest, So it just depends on really what's happening. But I've never had them go bad yet, knock on wood. But that's not to say it won't happen. I think the hardest thing is like I did have a couple of them that had stems that were kind of mushy, so I cut them shorter. There's nothing wrong with the bloom, it's just halfway down. So, but it's also been open air since, what day did y'all get flowers in? Do we know? Wednesday. So it's been in open air since Wednesday. So it's the process of flowers being out. I mean, for when you're doing stage programs like this, you're wanting all that stuff to be primed, just like a wedding. You want it to be a day from dead. That's when it looks the best. So, a day from dead. Yes. Somebody know? So when I was during the workshop, my good friend, my best friend, Alan Masters, I was like, here, just make something pretty. Surprise me when I get back. He was like, okay. So this is what he did. He went outside, he forged the pine cones and the pampas and the branch and then the greenery and the foliages. Not this one. He did not forge that one. That was back there. So, and then all the way to the cattails. And I told him I wanted something that felt woodsy. That's literally all I kind of told him. I was like, something woodsy. Like, not like home. This is my exact words. So this is what he came up with. He did a great job. What? He did. He pulled out some Wisconsin stuff. Last night they tried to make me eat squeaks, like hot cheese. I'm 100% wondering why y'all eat hot cheese, though. Look, everybody's like, hey, there's no need for a mutiny here. I'm just wondering. But it's hot cheese. It's supposed to be refrigerated. No. Okay. So when I got in there, I loved the whole look that he did on this, just because he pulled in this red from, these are, I think, crab apples, and then pulled into the red. Just that one little blast of red really set this whole thing off. And I love this part, that it is something that's like, as soon as I squeeze it, it's going to go everywhere. So, but I love that it's that day, again, day from dead. Like, finding the beauty in that is amazing. So, Don, we can bring that next one. What's that? A little hairspray. Would I have hairspray? If you'll take that one for me, sir. Thank you so much, Donovan. So then, what? Yeah. So then, so we got collections of vases, and I'm always into using the collections, showing as much as we can. Like when we do these stage programs, I want to pump out as much as I can because I speed talk. So, and then he did his whole style, which I love him to death, like adding in this nice woody look, but then adding in this flax, just to pull in these weird angles that you were like, there's no way that would happen in nature, but it would. So just really balancing out. I love the whole look. And then he added in like the ends of the pampas in here, and they're bound in like that. So, and he did this, we did this on Saturday. So Saturday morning, this was one of the first ones he did. It doesn't look like Christmas. Well, why are we calling them Christmas greens though? Winter greens. Winter greens, I sell winter greens all the way through March. Yes. So, year round. So then you get to use up all of that spruce and flat cedar and all that stuff that you might have on order from Christmas time. You use it all the way through. So, and then I feel like it pulls more of a fall vibe than it does anything. So that's what I love. Perfect. Any questions on it? I'll pose for Alan. I'll do Alan's pose. For him. This is one of y'all. A Wisconsinite made this one for me this morning. So the person that made this is in the crowd right now. He's absolutely amazing. And the one thing I told him, I was like, be creative. Turn off your head and turn on your heart. And just design. Don't worry about anything else. And he did such a marvelous job. So I think a lot of times we get into our own heads. We start overthinking everything we do. Everything we do in our business, everything. It's like we're trying to reinvent the wheel. every day. We don't have to. Lots of times, you just have to turn off this. This will get you in more trouble than this. Lead with this. Like our business, we all got into flowers also because we loved it. Not we loved, we love it. Now, how many of us always say, well, I loved it. I loved it. That's past tense. That means you still don't love it. You don't love it anymore. Me, I love it. It's everything I am. It's everything I'm going to be. I'm never going to be anything else than what I am right now. So Joe did a marvelous job on this. And I literally just told him, whatever you want to do, you be creative and turn off your head and turn on your heart and just design. And this is what he did. I literally was like, do you want to use some rocks? And he was like, yeah, I'll use rocks. So if you come up and look at this, the midnight foam is completely exposed. You can see every bit of it. So, but I'll let y'all up close. Yeah. The whole top is done. And then just added water onto the top. You can't see anything. Did a fabulous job. Foam is in the middle. It's all secured in by black rocks. Yes, ma'am.
So do you feel if it's green foam, you can get away with that?
If I use green foam 100%, we could not get away with this.
Have you, with that being said, you have not tried to leave the green foam exposed anyway yet? You haven't come to that?
No, I would never do it. Because it 100% honestly, it looks bad. The green foam looks bad exposed. Black foam doesn't. Like this, it disappears. Like it's clearly, you can't see it. Yes, it's hidden on the sides with rocks, but even if Joe would have done the rocks an inch lower, you wouldn't have noticed it. So I think I know for sure there's a brown foam out that's in Europe that looks amazing without being covered all over the place. So I think we're stepping in the right direction to kind of have different colors, but also years ago, when back in 07, they had this bagged foam, but it wasn't in bricks. All different colors. And look at everybody's head. No, it's horrible. Sometimes I think you can overhype a lot of different things. Let's just keep it simple. Like black, brown, green if you need it, because green is good for certain things, but it's not a natural color, not a natural green color. So I have moved my store to all midnight foam. It's the exact same price as green foam. So I only use midnight. It's easier. My team uses less. We have less waste, which is in the grand scheme of thing, dollars, cents. So, yeah. But I recommend just talking to your wholesalers. Tell them, hey, I want midnight foam or I want this because it's this, So, yes, sir. Yeah, thank you so much. Joe, you did a marvelous job.
There's some bud paste.
Yeah, Texas bud vases right here. Texas bud vase. Thank you so much. Texas bud vases right here. So, it's really crazy because like when you stand on these stages, you emulate so many of us. So like we all kind of pick and pull off of each other. And I was sitting in Derek's room, and I was like, dang it, I'm saying that too. I'm like adding in different looks. But I fell in love with these containers. I like the fall time. It's because I'm from Texas, I'm from Houston, and it's 110 in the summer. So as soon as fall hits, I'm like living life because I'm not dying and sweating and stuff like that. So I wanted to pull in these fall tones. Started with truly the calla lilies was the first thing that I grabbed to kind of highlight the vessels. And then I went into these antique carnations, and then into the flax, and then to the fern. And I still don't know what this is, but I just fell in love with it. It's some type of root. Derek, do you know?
I don't know.
Anybody know what this is?
Yeah.
Angel vine? Well, I fell in love with that, so I was like, okay, I'm going to add that in and wrap it around, pull in these brown tones. And then I was like, oh man, these orchids would look marvelous in this. So then adding in orchids and stuff like that and just really pulling in to keeping this. Now, would somebody buy this for $50? Probably not. But would they buy this whole thing for $150? 100%. Because they're getting 3 awesome decorative vases that they can highlight in their house, and they can have a whole collection over into their thing. To what Derek was saying about lifestyle. Boom. They're pulling that vibe, thinking very stucco house. Arizona, that whole look, because you're here in the frozen tundra. And there's, I heard earlier somebody say something about 80 inches of snow, and I'm like, huh? So this is going to keep that warmth that you have when y'all are freezing here. So that's kind of the look. Absolutely not. So, any questions on it? This is just literally repetition on the flax, trying to kind of pull the line down into the arrangement. So, questions? These are from Accent Decor also. Yeah. Now, how many of us have ever heard that we can't buy from them? It's too much, it's too this and that. Reach out to your wholesalers. Like, shop their sales thing. I'm also a small shop. I have 35,000 people in my town, so I can't send out Accent Decor vases all the time. I can't. It's not feasible. But what I can do is add in collections and stuff like that, and then finding ways to do it, like shopping the sales and stuff like that with my wholesalers, like going when they have their sale days and stocking up on things like that. But the main thing that I like to do is I love to watch what they're putting out, and then seeing how I can emulate some of it maybe with other things. So, but yeah, I love these. I don't have these in my store. That's what's sad. But I want them all the time. I love that you say that. How am I going to fly with those home? I brought 20 pairs of shoes for 3 days. That means I'd have to leave shoes here, which Nicole's husband would gladly probably take my shoes, except for he's got the wrong size. So, next one, Donovan. Oh, this one. Now this is, thank you, sir, and I'll take that other one too, the other one just like this. I had Alan make this one for me, and I just wanted a really big swooping line on this. Again, not overly creative, but lots of times the brides don't have the budget for a lot of creative big stuff. But then I told him, I was like, okay, once you do that, let's make one that we can highlight and make it look like a collection like this, where we have this bubble and we pull it all together and doing this on a table instead of just one that has this nice big swoop. We put this on the edge of a bar or on the table, and it really pulls together at that point. And again, the compotes are super rage right now. Everybody's wanting compote designs and stuff like that. I personally am ready for it to leave. There's some compotes that I love. Not a lot. But what are y'all's thought on it? Just a lot of groupings. He did a really great job accenting and stuff. I think this is the first one that he made on that day. Oh, this is the good one. This is the big one that I like that he made. Any questions on it? This one's super basic, but this is the good one that he did. All right, sir. Yeah, bring that one. This is the. I was like, I'm going to show these just so I can show this one. The bougie one. So, what do y'all think of this vessel? It is 2 containers stuck together, 2 urns stuck together to make. They are glued together. So, thoughts? Now, this thing is super light. It looks heavy as heck. It's not. It's super light. Alan did a marvelous job. I said, hey, let's do Hogarth curve and really stack everything in. And so he did it, and he ate and left no crumbs. So I love the tulips. The only thing I was going to do today, which I just forgot, was just to reflex a little bit, just where they really pop. But I mean, the whole thing pulls together. It swoops from one side to the next. It gives you this gorgeous rhythm and this gorgeous flow. It just makes you want to smile and stuff. So any thoughts on that? This whale tail. He did do a trick on the whale tail that I'll show you real fast. Boom, boom, boom. So if y'all ever look right here, so he has spliced 2 whale tails together like that. So creating that. So it makes it flat so it's not going to move as much. That is a stick. Well, it's not. It's a stem like a. I want to say it's not calcinia, but it's like a calcinia kind of sticky woody branch stick. So.
I like that.
Yeah, I feel like that guy that does all the dancing on TikTok right now. And he's dancing and he taps his face and it magically appears. Just picture that happen. Right. Yeah. The only thing I added in this morning was I added in ginger because I was like, oh, look, there's 2 pink ginger. Those need their day in the sun too. And then I inputted them in. But he did a marvelous job really pulling the whole thing, lines back and forth. Really, that's the whole thing on this one is the line work on it and how it redirects you always into that nice focal, which is the lilies. So, questions on that? Oh, it's so heavy. Here are the heavy ones. Oh, yeah. All right, thank you. Oh my God, now this one is heavy. Oh, Jesus. I need to start making stuff lighter. Oh, good God.
Those are all the crabs that were sitting outside.
So, this one I made this morning because I was like, all right, how many glads do I have left over? How many roses? How many of everything do I have? Then Derek was done with his program or his workshop, and that pulled all of his Cape haul. And then I was like, all right, what about these, Mom? Oh, wait, I still have brownie tulips left over. Oh, wait, I had still pods left over. And I'm like, I can't do a program and not use up everything that I did ask for my hands-on class. So this is everything that I have left over is in these last arrangements. Again, there's nothing out of this world or creative about this. The creative part about this is that it all works together and learning how to do big brush strokes. When you're doing big designs, it's so much faster to do a big design than it is the small intricate stuff. This is a big brush stroke. I'm just going nonstop. I'm turning off everything that's in here and just letting my hands work. Over the years, we train our body to know what we're doing and just started stacking everything in. And then literally right before we started wheeling everything over here, I saw this stuff again and I'm like, man, that arrangement needs something. I had enough time to walk away and come back to it and look and go, it needs something. And what it needed was that brown of that vine just going all the way through and weaving through the entire arrangement and letting it set apart. So, thoughts on that one? Then with our brownie tulips going in, and now some of the, like I said earlier, the brownie tulips, some of the stems were starting to rot. So I just cut them in and tuck them in lower and still using them. Thoughts on it? Is it pretty enough? This is also very trend forward because we're looking at peach, which is our Pantone color of the year. So, all right, Jesus. All right. Oh, Lord. There we go. That's going to stay here now. So y'all can look at it. All right. Next one. Oh. This one's also very light. Oh, thank you, Donovan. I was going to take it from you. Okay. Okay, so another, what'd you say, a Wisconsin? Wisconsinite made this one. Same Wisconsinite from earlier. And he goes, I said, hey, I was like, do you have time to make one more? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay, perfect. See that big vase? Can you do something in that one? And then he started inputting like all the Sagonas. I stopped, I was watching him. He's like being very purposeful with all of the little stems. And I'm like, no, hold on, come here. It's like big brush strokes. So I was like, art in general is always big brush strokes. When painters sit back, they take a step back and they do big strokes the whole time so you can get the vision down. So Joe did a marvelous job. As soon as I told him, he was like, all right. And then he just went after it. And I told him, literally, I don't want to snuff anybody's creative ability. Hey, just make something. As long as it fits into this palette. That's literally what I told him. As long as it fits into that palette, we're going to be good. And look how great he did. Look at this grass, how it flows out, and the gerbs flow out on this side. And then you got the glads that he's got great glad work in here where it's literally all grouped together. Then he adds in this brown, which highlights the brown in this one when they're a collection. And then to the peach tulips and the spray roses and the carns, they're all work so well together. Again, it just works. And it's pretty together. But just think, Donovan, can I get you to take this table for me, sir? But just think about when it's all together at the beginning of y'all's conference and you do big stuff and it just fits together so nicely. Making nice collections together. All right, here we go. Sorry, this is. All right, I'm ready, guys. This is the good one. So y'all might not be able to see it, sorry. Y'all can come up and look at it. I welcome y'all to come up and look at it. So let me move this one, try and figure out how to get to it. Yes. Can y'all see that okay over here? Here you go. There. Boom. So I tag teamed this one with my best friend. It took us 15 minutes to put this together. When I say I tag teamed with my best friend, me and Alan Master, I said, okay, I want this big one to be huge, but I don't want it to take us more than 20 minutes to make. He's like, all right, what are we gonna do? I was like, we are literally just going to start grabbing flowers in the peach stones and we're going to start slamming stuff in and not thinking at all. So the whole start of this was the curly willow. And I knew I wanted it to be big on one side and then swoop out. And then Alan grabbed all of these birds and we just started popping them and slamming them all in groups. And then he was like, okay, what about, I'm like, well, let's grab the orchids. We have to have the orchids in it, right? So he's like, okay. So he started doing the orchids. I literally have 3 bunches of stock that we had left over. And I literally just started one after another, as fast as I could, to give you this gorgeous pop that rolls into these roses and pulls your eye all the way down into the bottom down here where your orchid is draping out. And then the brownie tulips pulling to the pods and the pampas grass in the back. So it's got this bisecting line through the middle that you don't see until you have to stand over it to look at it. So, and then pulling in the greens, it's got aspidistra leaf, magnolia, foraged cedar, whaletail, and monstera leaves, and that's it. Now the coolest thing is this has got a 5-gallon bucket right here, flipped upside down, with a whole bunch of packing paper and like plastic and everything else, and then it's got a short black bucket up here that's got foam in it, and then packed around. So what's really heavy about this one is that the container is heavy, and it's awkward. But then there it is. Now I got to try to be skinny and get around this sucker. And voila. Whew. And so now we have our whole opening lobby done. Yes, ma'am. So, yes, ma'am. Yeah, question? It's still, I manipulated it, but it broke when I was doing it. But earlier it was hanging just right because I massaged it where it draped out. But then I hit it on the door and it was like, and I was like, you know what? Things happen. I'm leaving it there. So any questions on this one? What do y'all think of y'all's lobby now? This is my version of y'all's lobby for this year. So, I think I pulled something so bad. So, guys, thank y'all so much. I want to say this one thing real fast. Thank y'all so much for letting me live my daydream. Y'all let me do what I love every day. And it's because of y'all that I get to stand on stages and talk about flowers because I'm just a big flower nerd. And I love it. And I mean, just again, thank you from the bottom of my heart and welcome to my flower family. Y'all ever need anything, hit me up. I love talking flowers. So thank you guys.